Hey, it's Jason Kochis. I am back with a brand new inking video. I will be inking Shampoo from the anime and manga Ranma 1/2 by Rumiko Takahashi. And I used a Winsor Newton brush with some Deleter Black number 3 to ink this drawing in of Shampoo. And this is actually an original drawing. If you've been a fan of my channel, I appreciate you checking out my videos and coming back. If you're not, normally I find drawings online by famous artists that I really like and admire, and I usually print them out in blue ink and ink them in myself just to sort of practice and try to develop my own style and learn what I can from these great artists. But this drawing I actually created on my own. It's my interpretation of Shampoo from Ranma 1/2. Again, originally created by Rumiko Takahashi. May know her from her other many popular series like Inuyasha, Urusei Yatsura, Mizanikoku, Mermaid Saga. The list goes on and on. I am definitely excited and optimistic about the new anime that they are creating for Ranma 1/2. Has anybody watched it yet? If you have, please let me know in the comments. I haven't had a chance yet. But again, I am definitely optimistic. Definitely a fan of the show back from the 90s when I first discovered it. Working on Shampoo's hair here. You'll notice I definitely move the paper around a lot. I'm trying to get my hand at the position that I want to make the cleanest lines that I can with the brush. This definitely was a lengthy inking session. This particular drawing took me about 2 hours, start to finish, to ink in with the brush and the ink. I may have mentioned this in other videos, but I'm also trying to do these videos to experiment with different media, try out different things to find the tools that I'm most comfortable with using. And I may have mentioned this in the past, but I'm definitely very comfortable using the brush and the ink when creating drawings like this. I did that exclusively for my manga-inspired comic book, Koji and Maru. I've tried like micron pens and brush pens and stuff like that to sort of see, again, what I'm the most comfortable with, what I can use that is quick and effective and gives me the result that I want. After doing this drawing, definitely the brush and the ink, dipping it into the ink is the closest to what I want my work to look like. It's just a lengthy process. Because this drawing is done on 8.5 by 11 paper, and again, it took me about 2 hours to ink it all completely in. It's not a highly detailed drawing, but when I drew my manga, it was on 11 by 17. So if this took me 2 hours, then 11 by 17 page would take me probably about 3 or 4 hours on average. But again, just rotating the paper here. I think this was probably maybe the second or third time I've ever drawn Shampoo before. Definitely, one of the main features that I remember about her and her character is definitely her hair. So I'm taking special care to get that just right. Another reason I created this particular drawing is I'm going to be vending at a few anime conventions this fall, and I wanted to have some, I guess, some other work besides my original manga series for sale. And so I created a couple drawings, and this happens to be one of them. I guess you could technically say that this is fan art. But yeah, just to have something maybe more recognizable for fans who are not familiar with my, my personal work. Yeah, definitely, like I said before, the hair is an important part of what I, identify as shampoo. So I'm trying to get that right. If you're curious about my manga-inspired comic book, Koji and Maru, there is a link below in the description on where to purchase that. You can purchase it in the US and outside the US as well. And also there's digital downloads available. And again, those links will be in the description below. If you haven't done it already, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. It would really help me out. And I'm always curious to hear everyone's perspective on, or comments, about my drawing and my work here. So if you could please leave me a comment and a like, I'd be really appreciate it. I should totally mention that this video is accelerated. Obviously, video's like 18 minutes long, but I told you it took me 2 hours or so to do this. So I accelerated this inking process. Definitely difficult to, make that line right there for her arm in just one fell swoop. It takes a lot of concentration and patience. The one thing I do like about the brush is if my hand sort of shakes a little bit, it's okay because the ink just sort of just glides and it doesn't become jagged for me, sort of shaking. I originally did this drawing in my sketchbook in blue pencil, and then I scanned it in, made a couple of slight corrections, and then reprinted it out in blue ink on this paper right here. I think that's going to be the process that I'm going to use for the second issue of Koji and Maru, where I'm sort of drawing it on paper, scanning it in, making some corrections, and then reprinting it on 11x17 and then inking it from there. One of the other benefits of using the brush is I can make a little bit thicker lines just by applying a little bit more pressure. Sometimes when I use like a micron or a brush pen, I may have to go back a second time around and sort of thicken up some of the lines. And I'll probably do that with this drawing as well, but it is worth noting that I can sort of, do a little bit of thin and to thick with the brush and the ink all in one motion. So it definitely is one of the benefits. One thing I don't really like is sort of having to go back and forth and dip the brush into the ink so often. So every time you see the brush disappear from the screen, that's me getting some ink. It's not so awful, especially at this speed. But, in real time, it can become, a little bit of a drag. I do like the drying time on this ink. I will say that as well. This Deleter number 3 black ink has been a game changer. I was using Black Magic before, and I like this ink a lot better. So I highly recommend that if you haven't tried it already. And again, this is just stuff that works for me. If you find that you use a different kind of ink and that works for you, that's awesome. Let me know what you're using. I'd like to know so I can try it out. Adding in the details into Shampoo's outfit here. Definitely, not something that a lot of the characters that I normally draw have, so something a little bit different for me. These sort of floral patterns, you have to be careful too that the patterns don't end up in certain sensitive areas. Unintentionally, of course. And again, I'm trying to make these lines a little bit thinner than the lines that I created for her arm, because the arm is going to be in front of the dress or the outfit, so I want to make those lines a little bit thinner. So something that's going to be in front of you, I've always heard that you want to make those lines thicker so that they appear closer to you. Now I'm going to go around with a little bit of a bigger brush and do like an outline around the dark areas that I'm going to fill in with black. And this part is definitely a little bit more accelerated than the rest of the video. Yeah, now I've definitely got the bigger brush out, I can tell. Which character from Ranma 1/2 is your favorite? I'd have to say, strictly speaking of female characters, I would say Akane is my favorite, and then followed by Shampoo. I do like Kasumi a lot. There's just not a lot of her in the manga and anime. Again, excited to see what they do with the reboot / continuation of the series. Yeah, definitely a slow process here of going around and inking in all the dark areas. It's always interesting too, I'm sure. I do this when I'm watching other people's videos, like when I watch Jim Lee inking in his drawings and stuff that he does on his Discord channel. just, sort of seeing the drawing come to life and, in a more final form. So it's very interesting for me as well to see that happen in my own work. From the rough pencils to the final ink, it's very interesting. Hopefully you agree with me. And again, rotating the paper even when I'm doing this, just to make sure I'm getting my hand in the right spot to make the marks I want to make. And I have to be very careful not to put my hand into the ink. It does dry particularly fast, but sometimes I still end up putting my hand into the ink and making a little smear. Which is fine, I can just white that out, but for this particular drawing, I want to make it as clean and professional looking as I possibly can, with the hopes that I will be selling this at my merch booth in the artist alley. Getting close to completing all of the dark areas here. And see right here, I got a little bit of the ink on that side of the paper, so I got my eraser out right away to try to get that out, and it looks like I got it out all right. And now I've got some white ink on my brush, and I'm just gonna put in those little small details of Shampoo's eyebrows in her hair there. Almost done. Okay, on the left are my blue pencils, and on the right is my inked version. Hope you like it. If you do, please consider giving me a like and subscribing to my channel. Really appreciate it. And if you are curious, my all-ages manga-inspired comic book, Koji and Maru, is now available in print and digital download. There'll be a link in the description below for that. And I really appreciate you checking it out. And I'll see you next time.